reason. Yeah. It's not letting me go into my Wi-Fi here.
No, I don't. Weird message when I did it. That I've never seen before, that I just got home and it allowed me to get it. Are you not in?
I think it's letting me now. But I ordered and access my well, maybe now. But the order access there, I got access content. Do I need to that's or does it not? Okay. Let's see.
Well, you're the choice.
Yeah, there's all.
Okay, I think it is 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 121-22. I hereby call the January 11th, 2022 organizational meeting of the Bexley Board of Education to order. And we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up on our agenda is the swearing in of our new board members. Kyle?
Okay. We can do this a couple of ways. If you'd like to stand with your family or anybody that's here with you, we can do that one by one. We can do it as a group. Any preference? One by one? Sure. We'll start with my closest. So, ready?
Up here?
Yeah.
How about we go out here? Is that all right? I'll get in the back. All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll read a statement and you can affirm by saying I do.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Bexley City School District, Franklin County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do.
Great. Thank you.
All right. All right. Okay, this is not imaginary.
We love Jonathan.
Okay. And then,
Lydia, you want me to record so you can be up? Yeah.
yeah, why not?
Because you all signed up for it, right?
That's right.
All right, same thing. If you'll affirm with I do after this statement. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Bexley City School District, Franklin County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do.
Great. Thank you.
There you go.
Want me to record? Here's my work. Yeah. All right. Same thing. I do after this. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Bexley City School District, Franklin County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified? Thank you.
All right.
My daughter goes to that's all right. Let's try that.
Awesome. Thank you. Kyle, now you can hold the roll.
Thank you. Dr. Baker.
Here.
Dr. Jade.
Here.
Ms. Mitchell.
Here.
Ms. Pickrell.
Here.
Ms. Powers.
Here. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of our agenda. So is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you. Does anybody have any changes or comments on the agenda? Okay, all in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Next item is nominations for board president. Are there any nominations for the board president?
Madam President, or a president. I would like to nominate Ms. Victoria Powers to be our president for the next session.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Are there any other nominations? Okay, I guess we need a motion to approve the nomination of Victoria Powers.
To close the nominations.
We close the nomination
Yes.
next, thank you. So the nominations are, motion to close, is that what you're saying?
Yes, motion to
Motion
close.
to close the nomination,
So moved.
thank you, and a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of closing the nomination,
Mm-hmm.
please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. So is that it? And then we go to the vice president?
Motion to
Sign.
elect.
I'm sorry.
So that closed the nominations, now we have a motion to elect.
Thank you. So now we need a motion to elect Victoria Powers as the president of the board. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, that motion carries. Kyle, do you want to swear me in?
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
I'm having family members.
Same sign, answer as I do afterwards. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as the President of the Board of Education of the Bexley City School District, Franklin County, Ohio, to the best of your ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do. Thank you. So now we'll go through the same process for the board vice president. I would like to nominate Alicia Mitchell to serve in the role as our board vice president. Are there any other nominations? Okay, I need a motion to close the nominations, and I will make that motion. Can I have a second? Thank you. All in favor of closing the nomination, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. So now I'd like to entertain a motion for the election of Ms. Mitchell as the board vice president. I will make that motion. Can I have a second? Thank you. All in favor of that nomination or the installation of Alicia Mitchell as our vice president of the board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. Next.
Oh, is there a swearing?
Yep, this is where it
I jumped up.
I'll find out if you get sworn.
We get sworn in today. We should have did it together.
That's right.
Okay, same statement afterwards, I do as an affirmation. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as Vice President of the Board of Education of the Bexley City School District, Franklin County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified.
I do.
Awesome, thank you so much. The next item on our agenda is our board meeting dates, for this year, 2022. We have generally moved those from Tuesday evenings, the first Tuesday to the second Wednesday, with some exceptions. And so there were a couple of adjustments made to accommodate people's calendars, and I appreciate that people were able to make those adjustments. I hope all of these will work for Quinn too. I had the opportunity to review.
They're all fine. I think Wednesday has.
Thank you. So, can I have a motion to approve the dates for and times for our board meetings this year?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Anybody have any comments about that?
I do. We normally schedule a December or end of year retreat also, and I didn't see that we had that on there. And I don't know if we should wait, give it a few months and then figure out if we need to put a retreat on the agenda.
Is our February one?
Our February one is on
Okay.
there. So that's just been historically.
Yeah.
Because we go over, current work that we're working on in that last half of the year and or just to get ready for it. Since we look at that end of the year, what is kind of coming ahead the following year, it might be good to throw a retreat date on here.
Right, and I think what we were thinking about is that instead of setting it now and doing it in December, which is a really hard time, that maybe we would move it a little earlier in the year.
Like October.
Yeah, maybe find a date, late summer, early fall, and see if we feel like we have things we want to do in that retreat, and start figuring out whether we need to be down the road on some of our work that we're going to be doing to know when to plan the retreat.
Sure.
So I think that's a really good point, and let's make a note to watch
Keep
for
it on
that.
the radar.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
then the only other thing, Dr. Fine, I know that you always put in like your weekly update our board meetings, but because we are switching days, and it's been Tuesday for at least 3 to 4 years, if we could just find a way to make sure that we're getting that out there.
For our community.
Mhm.
And the location changed.
And the location change,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Great.
Like, whether we just do a blast
Yeah.
with specifically that, so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of all the other information. I think it would be really important, because City Hall gets a little congested anyway,
Yeah.
around that time of the day.
Yeah, I'm grateful that we moved to City Hall because it gives us a little bit more space.
Yeah.
And it's central, and
Right.
there are some real benefits to being there, but I think you're absolutely right that making sure our community knows that that's where we're going to be
Right.
is super helpful. Anything else on the dates or times or location of our, great, can I have I guess we've got the motion, so all in favor of adopting this proposed agenda or this set of dates for our meetings, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is representation of our board members to district and community organizations. And so, as last year's vice president and 10th pro-town president for this meeting, all of the board members replied to a request to get the input on which community organizations and administrative leader committees they wish to serve on. So I was able to make assignments and fit everyone into their first or second choices for both the community roles and the superintendent and treasurer's committee, which I was really grateful for. So here are the assignments that I have put together for this year. For the athletic board, Dr. Baker. For the Bexley Education Foundation, Ms. Mitchell. For the Franklin County School Board Member Alliance, our representative would be Dr. Jade. For the, as the legislative liaison to the OSBA, it would be me. For the Bexley Rec Board, it would be Ms. Pickrell. And for the PTO Support Organization, I slated in the president of the board with the vice president as the alternative. I think that that's typically who attends those or is the president of those organizations or the leader, and so I thought it made sense for us to follow that way of doing things. And I checked with Ms. Pickrell. There is a Bexley Rec Board meeting tomorrow night. It was moved from last week at 5:30. I confirmed it is at 5:30. So I'm really grateful that we can do that. So I need a motion to approve that set of assignments for those community committees.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just as a point of support, if any of us get into a spot where, you have a meeting coming up, but, major conflict, one of us could potentially stand in as a stand-in for you, if we have enough time or notice. We've had to do that a couple of times, so, certainly as your schedules start to get busy and you have stuff going on, just reach out, either by email or text, and let us know.
That's a great point. And I did have a quick conversation with Marguerite about the Franklin County School Board Member Alliance. They'd like to have 2 members, and so I noted to her that I'll continue to participate in that periodically, but that she'll be our official,
Sure.
member and reporter and all that. Okay. All in favor of this slate of assignments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you, that motion carries. Next is the board representatives to the superintendent and treasurer committees. So what we decided to do this year was to double board member appointments for each of those. Last year, we had 2 board members on several of them, and we discovered that that was super helpful. Alicia and I both served on one together, and we really found that to be beneficial. Having 2 members on the policy committee last year was really important. And so these are the policy assignments for this year. Superintendent's policy committee would be me, Ms. Powers, and Ms. Pickrell. The Superintendent Facilities Advisory Committee would be Ms. Mitchell and Ms. Pickrell. The Treasurer Finance Committee and the Treasurer's Advisory Council would both be Ms. Mitchell and Mr. Baker, Dr. Baker. Mess up every time, just let me know.
That's no problem.
Superintendent's Mission, Vision, and Planning Advisory Council would be me and Dr. Jade. Superintendent's COVID-19 Watch Team would be me and also Dr. Jade again. I have a motion to approve those assignments.
So, vote second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions about those?
I just want to go on the record and say that one day I would like for the COVID watch team to go away.
Yes.
Just so that we are not talking about it all the time. One day.
That would be our goal, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, all in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, that motion carries. The next items I think we typically consider together, and they're the business items, our standing authorizations, organization memberships, and our 2022 service fund establishment. Can I have a motion to approve all three of those authorizations and memberships?
Yes, motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions about any of those three? All in favor of approving those three business items, 3A, B, and C, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, that motion carries. And the last item on the agenda for this organizational meeting is to adjourn our meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Okay.
Thank you. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We are adjourned.